Hello, Steve White, Tripway89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Star Trek. I just did a video about the new rumours about there being a series of kiddie shorts for YouTube for Star Trek, and they came from the Sci Trek guy, and he was also talking about where Star Trek is at in the production at the moment. He was saying that the producers who were in there at Paramount Plus saying, no, you're going in the wrong direction, you're doing Star Trek wrong, we need to do it differently, we need to simplify it. And make it identifiable as Star Trek, not keep going in different directions and going further and further away from what's identifiable as Star Trek. And they weren't listened to, and they were eventually fired. And now apparently he's talking to them about what happened. So he no longer sort of knows as much about what's happening because these people are out, but he has a clear idea of what did happen, supposedly, allegedly. And if this guy really is talking to people, not just making it up, because who knows. But the other thing he was saying was right now there's a good side and a bad side to where they're at. The bad side is they've got no one overseeing them at the moment in Kurtzmanville. They're just doing whatever they want within the limits of what they've got of Starfleet Academy being in production and Strange New Worlds continuing production in a very small amount of money. If they can find some investor money or take money out of all the billions they've made out of Star Trek by taking money and not actually spending it on the actual show and just keeping it for themselves and all that. They're talking about 10 million episodes, $10 million an episode or something. There's no way any of that's on screen for Discovery and Strange New Worlds. That's all going into the producers' pockets and into Secret Hideout, which is why Paramount needs to take it back in-house and produce it themselves, because the money will then appear on screen, which will help. But because there's no point spending $10 million an episode if it doesn't show, because even if you're making that money back, you're still losing money. If you're not making that money back, and it's not even on screen, what is even the point? Just get rid of the middleman and go back to producing yourself, Paramount. But he was saying now there's no one watching them, so they can do whatever they want, but they also are limited to just finishing off Strange New Worlds. So they've done the 4th season pretty much, and they're going to do the 5th season before their contract's up. They're going to get it in production. I guess they're aiming to finish it, the main filming before the contract's up. But they just need to get it started so they can finish it contractually. But the other thing is they're trying to get Academy done as well. So they're sort of just doing Academy, which is probably just going to be a short run series, just one class of cadets coming in for a year or so and then being done. I guess that's how that's going to play out. And finishing off Strange New Worlds to 5 years, which they're going to try and act like now that they just do 5-year shows because they had some shows cancelled at 5 years. So they're going to act like now that's the norm, and they decided that, like Discovery was cancelled. We just heard that they wanted to do a series Fun Hour and they were denied. They just got an extra couple of days of filming, which they probably had the budget for because they probably had money put aside for reshoots, which is apparently something shows do now. TV shows, like films, they keep money aside for reshoots in case they do have to go back. So that probably really wasn't costing Paramount Plus too much to give them those couple of days to actually do an ending for the whole series on top of the season ending. But so that's sort of where it's at. That's what they're allowed to do. That's sort of their mandate at the moment. It's just finish Strange New Worlds and focus on and do Academy, and there's nothing after that. So if their contract isn't continued, that's where it ends. If it is continued, then who knows what horrors await us. But I just want to talk about that a bit because I got towards the end of my episode and I remembered that part and I want to talk about it, and I only had a few seconds left. I'm like, I'll just do another video. I try to keep my videos to 5 minutes. I don't know why. I find if I don't have a time limit, I just keep talking. And I find for myself, if a video is not at least 5 minutes long, I don't bother watching it because it's just not worth clicking on then having to find another video in 2 minutes. So, yep. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Sci Trek guy knows anything? Do you think he's really talking to people? Because he said he was talking to people in the legal department who are aware of all the contracts, and that's how he knew some stuff. And then he was saying there are other people sort of on the outsides that were talking, that they had contact with the producers and what was happening in the offices. And now he's saying he's actually talking to the actual producers that now, were they producers or were they writers or showrunners? Basically, Paramount shed a whole lot of people a while ago, and now they're all talking. Because, well, they're not at Paramount anymore, and they've also, I guess, got no loyalty because, they just got fired. So there's a bit more information about what happened at Secret Hideout and what's been happening with Star Trek in the last few years, apparently because so many people were shed from Paramount. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm up to 5 minutes. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of what's happening at Star Trek, at Secret Hideout. It's just really horrific. Having grown up with Star Trek, wishing for more Star Trek, getting it, having it be good, and then have it stop, and then come back as this mutant thing that's being made to try and appeal to everyone but Star Trek fans, and just slaps you in the face every time you try and watch it. It's just really hard. And I know New Trek fans who don't like the original Star Trek and never into Star Trek are not bothered, and they don't care. But they don't buy merch, so they're not making enough money for the studios. So at some point they have to start valuing us and start focusing on generating more of us, actual Star Trek fans who get Star Trek, who like science fiction, who are intelligent, and are willing to actually spend money investing in this universe that we want to believe in. Wow, 6 minutes again.